Greetings, my fellow gamers. I am Wraith King, and welcome to the Dark Kingdom. Let me just start by saying this game has had a massive impact on my journey as a YouTuber, but also my life. I have made so many wonderful friends just by experiencing this masterpiece, this wonderful game. I have made so many friends. And just to see how far this game has gotten, and how these wonderful characters have been remastered is just breathtaking, to say the least. Really, it is. And to be a part of this community, the way I have been, maybe not a massive part, but I've been a big part of it, you know? And I'm glad that I have been a part of the community. And I'm so happy about that. And to pick up this game yet again, especially the sequel, makes me so happy. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. We're about to play the best mobile game. And no, I'm not exaggerating. This is the greatest mobile game of all time. I've played a lot of good mobile games, but Seven Nights is the greatest mobile game of all time. The sequel does have its flaws, which we will be going over in a minute, but the story makes up for it. I highly recommend you pick up this game and play it for yourself, because if you want a AAA story, you want to play a game that's basically a console game, play this. You don't have to play the original version, although I would highly recommend it. It's a great game. If you want the experience of a console game, play this. This is truly a good game. There's not much introduction even needed for this, to be honest, but this is truly an amazing game. But alright, as much as I would love to just go over all these characters, just to look at all of their amazing character models, just look at Rudy, Spike. Look at Spike! Just look at him! Okay, I'm getting distracted. There's so much nostalgia here, just seeing all these characters the way they are now. Alright, let's just move on to the game itself. Now, I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say if you're a fan of the story and you start playing this, it's going to break your heart. Like, you might cry playing this the first few moments. It's pretty good, to say the least. The story is a masterpiece. I'm willing to say this is better than even it is better than all of the console games I have played recently. It's impossible to compare this with other mobile games because they wish they were this good. That's how incredible the story in this is. I can't stress this enough. You have to experience it for yourself, especially if you have a thing for Final Fantasy, especially the remake. Much of this game did remind me of that version of Final Fantasy. Although, of course, there's some strong differences, especially with the gameplay, which we will get into. This really does remind me of it. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, this is a mobile game. I'm probably not gonna like it. It's just another cash grab mobile game that doesn't give a flying fig about me or what I like. No, play this. Netmarble does not lie to you. Those ads you've seen of Seven Nights are 100% the gameplay, 100% the game, the cutscenes, they are real. This game is good. Play this. You will not regret it. This is truly a masterpiece. I have found there's nothing wrong with the story. I love it. It's got me hooked. It really does. You have to experience this game. I'm not going to give anything away. Play it yourself, especially if you're a fan. If you're a fan of Seven Nights and you have not played this yet, what is wrong with you? It's just, what are you doing with your life? Just play this game. Play it. But alright, that's the positive bit. But now I have to go into the negatives. The gameplay is quite possibly the slowest burn I have experienced in mobile gaming recently. And I have played... Ugh. Now, it's not worse than Raid Shadow Legends. It's not that bad. But what I can give Raid is there is a lot of thought that is put into the combat. Like, a lot of thought that's actually put into the combat in that. But when it comes to Seven Nights, all you gotta do is get some decent gear and then put it on auto. The game is done. Like, that's all you really need here on Seven Nights. Just press the auto button and you're done. You're green. But in the last Seven Nights game, that was far from the truth. You needed to participate in the gameplay. In the original game, if you did not have good gear, if your team wasn't set up correctly, if you did not use the right skills at the right time, and you didn't use the right build, you didn't use the right buffs, if you didn't do anything right, I don't care. You're dead, okay? Especially in the arena. You are dead if you do not have the right gear setup, which is why I hated the auto skill, and I still hate it, because you need to use the correct abilities at the right time, or else you're done. And you're just going to lose in the arena. But that's not the case in the sequel. You could have just about any type of gear setup, just about any kind of team. You just put it on auto, you'll fall asleep. I'd say after at least 4 or 5 minutes of watching the gameplay itself, I just immediately fell asleep. There were times I found myself daydreaming, working out, and doing other things, and heck, even playing other games. With that said, it's not bad. It's definitely not the worst I've seen, but coming from such a talented group of developers, this is definitely not their best work, and I really do believe they could have done a lot more. Now, there was this one situation in the game. I'd say about 20, maybe an hour or so into the story, you fought this boss. I'm not going to give too much away. I'll just show some gameplay of the boss. I was like, oh, wait a sec. Now I need to upgrade my gear. Now I need to plan. All right, okay. Now here's the gameplay. But no. I just forgot to press a button. I forgot to press this one simple button that made the entire fight completely easy. I didn't have to go back and farm levels or anything like that. You didn't have to go to the shop and get some special gear. No. None of that really mattered. All I had to do was press add a pet to my party, and then the boss just died. Now, at first, I thought the game was trying to get me to buy something, but as soon as I figured out all I had to do is just add a pet to my party, and that was it, I was both happy and disappointed. Because this is more of a personal preference. I love getting my butt kicked in video games. I love fighting a boss that's borderline impossible. I love doing that. I loved it in Final Fantasy. I loved fighting those bosses with millions of HP that took hours of coordination and thought to actually beat. I love that in gameplay. That's something I continue to enjoy in both the Souls series especially, and games like Hades, games that actually require some thought and strategy, not just mindlessly pressing buttons. I love that. But that's simply just not the case here. My combat efficiency just went way up. As soon as I threw this pet on the team, not only did the pet increase my defense by a large margin, the pet also just heals me, like almost full health when I'm at low. I actually used the ability by accident in battle, but since my defense was so high, it didn't matter. And I hope it's not like this later in the game. I really hope it's not. Because so far, the gameplay is really boring. And as much as I love the characters, I love their animations, the character art is just wonderful, the character model is beautiful, everything about this game, visually, and the story is great. It's just that the gameplay, it really isn't very good. It's really not. And there are some occasions where it does make things a little interesting. The game is extremely story-driven, so of course, there are going to be occasions where you're going to need to use a specific character on your team during that encounter, but that's throughout the story. I don't believe this affects anything else, at least as far as I've seen. Now remember, this is only a first impressions. This is not a review. This is only what I've seen so far. And I'm going to try my best, guys. I'm going to keep playing this on the channel, but from my first impression so far, the gameplay, it's just not something I really enjoy. I've actually been on and off because it's just really a drag. I just don't feel like playing it because I've played so many other games like it. Now, let's say this was the first of its kind. Let's say Seven Nights 2 was the first game like Seven Nights 2. My opinion would be a little different because this is okay. Like, let's say I played this for the first time. I've never played a game like this before. I'd say it was alright. The gameplay is okay. The big problem is just the auto. That's the massive issue here, is the fact that you literally could just leave it on auto and watch the gameplay itself. That's not very good. Like I mentioned earlier, that was just never really a huge part of the original game, although you could put it on auto. It's best, especially in PvE. Definitely in PvE. You really needed to play the game yourself because there's certain buffs, certain abilities that just needed to be used first, and at a certain time. You just could not rely on the AI to do everything for you in that game. That's just something you could not do. And again, that's why I hated it in the arena. But here, it doesn't seem to matter. It really doesn't. You just put it on auto, the game plays itself, and it just turns into a movie. Really. So, as much as I love the story, this doesn't feel like a game. It doesn't feel like I'm playing anything. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything besides equipping gear every once in a while, and maybe pressing a few buttons on the skills, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot I'm doing as far as the gameplay is concerned. I'm just pressing a button, and my hands are free. But yes, those are the negatives, and they are the only negatives, is the gameplay. And that's a pretty big one right there. Again, netmarble, you guys knocked it out the park with this game. It is truly a masterpiece. It's something that I am truly enjoying right now. Despite the flaws in the gameplay, I have been enjoying the story quite a bit. No joke, I would play through hundreds of games just like this, with this kind of gameplay, only to experience the amazing and immersive story of Seven Nights 2. This is a game worth your time. It absolutely is. Why would you spend $60 on a remaster of a game was just thrown together with duct tape, boogers, and glue? Like some games I won't mention. Grand Theft Auto. Why would you spend that kind of money when you can download this game for absolutely free? You can play it right now. One big thing about the netmarble team is they are extremely rewarding. You jump on this game right now, they're going to give you a whole bunch of treasure absolutely for free. A whole bunch of awesome characters for free. Give you a whole bunch of summons and all that. All you got to do is just play the game. And they're giving you all this wonderful stuff. No codes or anything needed. This isn't even a sponsor. I'm just giving them a shout out here. This truly is a masterpiece. It's a must play. It's absolutely free. You're not wasting any money or time by playing it because it's on your phone. All you gotta do is pick up your phone, press install, there it is. Wonderful game, right at your fingertips anytime. But yes, I highly recommend you try this game for yourself. It really is a masterpiece, despite its flaws. In the meantime, though, I'm afraid I have to go, my fellow gamers. That's all the time I have left. If you want to see more chill videos just like this, all you gotta do is leave a like, comment, and subscribe, so you too can be a part of the Dark Kingdom. But until next time, kings and queens, please do have a blessed day. Bye.